Audio check. Cheryl. Ceremony and good evening, everyone. My name is Bill Fletcher, and I am the Chief Administrative Officer of the City of St. Albert, and it is my honor and privilege to begin the inauguration ceremony for the candidates elected to serve on council of the City of St. Albert for the 2025 to 2029 term. I would like to acknowledge and welcome all of our invited guests this evening, all members of the public above us in the gallery, and those who are watching this ceremony on our YouTube channel. I'm also extremely pleased and honored to acknowledge that we have honored participants from the Indigenous community, Elder Archie Arcand, and Ryan Arcand. At this time, I invite Mayor-elect Olivieri to come forward.
I'd like to start with our land acknowledgement statement. We respectfully acknowledge that we are on Treaty 6 territory, traditional lands of First Nations and Métis peoples. As treaty people, Indigenous and non-Indigenous, we share the responsibility for stewardship of this beautiful land. I would like to invite Ryan Arcand to come forward. Ryan, we would like to offer you tobacco and this gift of exchange for asking you to provide blessings to help guide this new council along the path to truth and reconciliation in our community.
Hey, tapoy sa mina, maiksino at suat na pisa po mga jotega. Ipapi to go ti, Romina Matsuno Mayoga. Hey, tapoy kinanas kung tano mano jotega. Tapoy maga kisagi ten kakigi mina, kakigi. Hey.
Thank you, Ryan, for your kind words and blessings.
Hey, thank you.
I'd now like to invite Elder Archie Arcand to come forward. Elder Archie Arcand, we would also like to offer you tobacco and this gift of exchange in asking you for your blessings to help guide this new council along the path to truth and reconciliation in our community.
Thank you.
Heavenly Creator, we gather here today to ask for your blessing for the newly elected members of City Council. We thank the new councilors for their willingness to serve our community. We pray that you grant them wisdom, compassion, and patience in facing the issues that will be coming before them. Creator, guide them in making their decisions that will promote a better community. Remind them that they need to be involved, that they need to be inclusive of all those who live in our community, and especially those who are marginalized, and including those our citizens who search for their food and shelter daily. Creator, let the new council remember that the original founders of St. Albert were First Nation and Métis settlers, and that the city hall is built on the river lot of the Métis traditional land. Creator, kindly protect them, their families, from the unique pressures of public life, and grant them strength and energy for the demanding work ahead. Creator, we ask that you guide their deliberation and inspire them to work together in unity, setting aside partisan differences for the common good. Guide them to listen to one another and to the people they serve. Creator, we commit them into your care, trusting in your guidance in leading us towards peace, unity, and prosperity.
I now invite the Honorable Chief Justice Kent Davidson of the Court of King's Bench and a former St. Albert councillor himself to come forward to administer the oath of office to Mayor-elect Olivieri.
Good evening, friends and neighbors. Not sure if the microphone works. Okay, I think we got it working again. And all of our honored guests today. It's my privilege to welcome you all here today on a very important civic occasion. Swearing in of the mayor and council of St. Albert. Can you hear me? I promise to speak loud. Oh, there we go. Today marks not only a transition in leadership, of course, from one generation to another, it's a reaffirmation of our shared commitment as a community to democratic governance, to community service, to the rule of law. The election has been an exercise in democracy, of course, that was spirited, civil, and fair, but it's not just a contest of ideas. It's a demonstration of our collective respect for all of our institutions and our history and the democratic process that binds us all together. As was noted in my brief introduction, I had the honor of serving 2 terms on as a municipal councillor in the 1990s. Indeed, I think I calculated it was 33 years ago around now that I sat in one of these chairs before you tonight. And while much changed of our community since then, what remains constant is the enduring spirit of mature public debate in our community and the deep commitment to public service demonstrated by all of the candidates in the election, both successful and as that spirit keeps our community safe and strong and accountable. Now I pause here to acknowledge with great respect the contributions of the departing members of our council. These earnest public servants who helped us shape our community, including our long-serving and perhaps even iconic status of mayor. And of course, long-standing councillors that are no longer sitting. They have been stewards of our history, our growth, and our progress. And I know I speak for all of our community and all of you when expressing very deep and profound thanks. We will miss their contributions to the city's evolution, but the torch always passes, and those from whose hands it is delivered today have given the city the greatest of gifts. Their example of commitment, wisdom, gift of their time, and civility. I want to take a moment to acknowledge as well, if I can, the dedicated administrative staff of the city of St. Albert. These public servants work tirelessly, often in challenging and unpredictable environments, and often without thanks or credit, and sometimes with only modest reward, to ensure that the machinery of local government runs smoothly. And their professionalism, their perseverance makes transitions like today not only possible, but seamless. And their sense of public duty, their commitment to ethical administration, their love for this city has always inspired me. Now, Mayor-elect Olivieri, you have an eager team ready to take on the challenges facing our community, and they are straining at the bit. And I shan't delay their assumption of their duties a moment longer, and I'll begin administering the oath of office to you, Mr. Mayor-elect, following which I will deal with the councilors. And as you take the oath of office today, your community will be listening for your commitment to uphold the law and values of the city of St. Albert and the province of Alberta, and your commitment to serve all St. Albertans with integrity, fairness, passion. Paul, Mayor-elect, please.
I, Scott Olivieri, swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability, execute according to the law, the office of mayor of the city of St. Albert, Alberta, so help me God.
I will now ask Honorable Chief Justice Davidson to administer to each of the councillors-elect the oath of office. First, my apologies.
Mayor, with the chain of office. Like that, just like that.
After your kind words, Chief Justice, I went and messed up the batting order. I apologize. I'll now ask Honorable Chief Justice Davidson to administer to each of the councillors-elect the oath of office, beginning with Councillor-elect Clark.
I, Sandy Clark, swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability, execute according to the law the office of Councillor of the City of St. Albert, Alberta, so help me God.
And next, Councillor Bermansky.
I, Shelley Bermansky, swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability, execute according to law the office of Councillor of the City of St. Albert, Alberta, so help me God.
Councillor-elect Cortash.
I, Neil Cortash, solemnly affirm that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability, execute according to law the office of Councillor of the City of St. Albert, Alberta.
Councillor Mackay.
I, Ken Mackay, swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability, execute according to the law the office of Councillor of the City of St. Albert, Alberta, so help me God.
Councillor Hughes.
I, Sheena Hughes, swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability, execute according to the law of the office of Councillor in the City of St. Albert, Alberta, so help me God.
Councillor-elect Patrick.
I, Amanda Patrick, solemnly affirm that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability, execute according to the law, the office of Counselor of the City of St. Albert, Alberta.
So as we welcome our new mayor and council, let us do so with gratitude, optimism, and new commitment to the values that make St. Albert a truly remarkable place. I wish you all the support of a grateful community as you set the course for our collective future. Remember always that what you're doing affects the lives of many, and sometimes in very profound ways. So may you lead with integrity, purpose, and courage, wisdom, humility, but always, always with humanity, as so many of those who have come to these esteemed offices before you. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chief Justice Davidson. Everyone, please join me in giving all our honored participants and your new mayor and councilors a hearty round of applause. I'll now ask Mayor Olivieri to say a few words.
Good evening. On behalf of my fellow elected council, I extend our deepest appreciation for sharing in this wonderful evening with us. Tonight, I stand before you with deep gratitude, great humility, and an unwavering sense of purpose as I take on the role of mayor in this remarkable city. Being entrusted with the responsibility to lead St. Albert, a community I care so deeply about, is an extraordinary honor and one I will carry with integrity, transparency, and accountability. This has been the greatest accomplishment of my professional career, thanks to so many people who helped get me here. To my fellow councilors, congratulations. You were chosen by the people to serve, to listen, and to lead. Each of you brings your own voice, your own values, and your own vision to this table. Together, we form one team with a shared duty to serve all residents of St. Albert, not just those who voted for us, but everyone who calls this city home. St. Albert is more than just a place on a map. It's a community rich in character and one with immense opportunity. It's a city that is strong, has a deep history, is engaged, inclusive, and is driven by an unwavering purpose to provide more than is expected. We are a city that cares, and we are stronger because of it. But like any growing community, we will have our challenges, but with challenge comes opportunity. We will build on our foundations and those before us, and those who challenged us all by running for a seat at this table. Your perspectives and your visions are not forgotten. Your great ideas represent opportunity to build on. You have all worked so hard, and we will remain focused on doing what is best for St. Albert. We will address affordability, economic development, and amenity enhancements to ensure our city can support its growth. We will ensure there is a trust between government and community through transparency, thoughtful engagement, and accountability. These next 4 years will lay out the future for generations, and we must steward St. Albert responsibly and with purpose. Our decisions affect the lives of those living and working in our city every day. Our responsibility is to never forget that, and as your mayor and part of council, I will ensure that this is always front of mind. As we begin this new term together, I share the kind of leadership I believe and the kind of culture I hope we will build together. First, professionalism will be non-negotiable. We are here to serve, and that is an honor. We will disagree at times, but our debates, whether amongst council or with the public, will be grounded in respect, substance, and a shared commitment to what's best for the people of St. Albert. We will act with humility and grace because serving our community is our greatest honor. Second, transparency and accountability will will guide our decisions. Residents deserve to know how and why choices are made, and we must always be willing to explain them. We will make decisions not if, but when we are ready. We must hold each other accountable, lead openly, listen actively, and report honestly. And of great importance, we will be fiscally responsible. Our decisions affect everyone in our community, and we will use our resources effectively and efficiently. We will treat the dollars available as if they were our own, because ours are in there alongside everyone else's. Our strategic plans will be thorough, strong, and the catalyst to building a successful, sustainable future. Our city and its people are our purpose, and council is the conduit and the voice to action, and that is the oath we took this evening. Perhaps most importantly, this council will be one that engages with the community deeply and with purpose. That's how we got here, and that's how we will continue. We will go beyond council chambers and into the community, into the schools, the boardrooms, the senior centers, and the community events wherever people are. So they know there is a face to our names and ears that hear you. We will listen to those who haven't felt heard. We will seek out diverse opinions, and we will ensure that our decisions reflect the lived experiences of the people we serve. Before decisions are made, we will have a deep understanding of the issues and the opportunities before us, and we will be predictive, not reactive. We will think long-term and big picture even when debating the smallest of items. And our voices are no longer simply our own, but those of our community. We are a city that needs to be prepared for the future. Now is the time to be bold, to think creatively, act collaboratively, and move forward with unwavering purpose. We must ensure our city remains safe, clean, healthy, educated, and supported at any age. St. Albert will be a leader amongst its peers. Lastly, to the residents of St. Albert, thank you for your unwavering trust. On behalf of all 7 of us elected, to our families, campaign teams, supporters, volunteers, and all those who open their doors to us, we are forever grateful. You solidified our purpose and our fuel our passion for St. Albert. To my fellow councillors and our strong administration team, let's set the expectations of what great cities look and act like. Let's lead with courage, strength, clarity, and thought. Let's listen more than we speak, and let's ensure that every decision we make reflects the values, goals, and needs of the people in this great city. Let's put our heads down and stay focused on the tasks at hand, so when we look up in 4 years, it will allow us to reflect and be proud of all we've accomplished together. Council, be proud of yourself. You earned the right to be here, and let's prove to our community it was the right decision. This is our moment. Let's build something meaningful. Let's build something that makes us proud to call St. Albert home. I'm honored to be here and sit amongst you. Nothing great comes easy, and let's never be afraid of what seems impossible. The purpose, the journey, and the future we can build together starts now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the formal part of this evening's ceremony. Please join me once again in congratulating our new mayor and council as they embark upon their journey of service to our city. Thank you to our honored guests who both enabled and enriched tonight's ceremony, and I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge our honor guard representing Royal Canadian Mounted Police St. Albert Detachment and the St. Albert Fire Service. To all those who attended both virtually and online, thank you for being here tonight. To our guests attending virtually, you may leave this meeting and watch the organizational meeting online through our YouTube channel, which can be found on our website. With that, we will conclude and carry on with the business of running the city. Thank you. So if I could offer, Mayor, if we could take 5 minutes just to reset and then we can kick off.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll start the meeting. Silence in the auditorium.
Okay, I'd like to call our organizational meeting to order at 6:32 PM. And note of great importance that we are all here with 100% attendance. I now ask if a counselor would like to put forward a motion to adopt the agenda as presented this evening. Counselor Bermansky,
That the November 3rd, 2025 agenda be adopted as presented.
thank you. I'd like to now call for the vote. Vote is now closed and that passed unanimously. Moving to item 3, I don't believe we have any presentations, delegations, or announcements this evening, though I am looking forward to when the community comes forward with those. So with that, unless there is anything, Bill, that you would like to bring forward?
No, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, with that, we will move to 5.1. And I ask Councillor McKay to make a motion.
Good evening, Council. Welcome to the organizational meeting. In accordance with the Municipal Government Act and the Procedure Bylaw, we are required to hold an organizational meeting once a year, no later than 14 days after the third Monday in October. Today's the last day we can hold the organizational meeting, and we are required at the org meeting to do 3 things. We are required to approve the calendar for the council and standing committee of the whole meetings, including dates, times, and locations. We're required to set the deputy mayor roster, and we are required to set the date for next year's organizational meeting. So in accordance with those rules, administration is presenting 3 sets of motions for council's consideration this evening. The first is to for council to approve the calendar of meetings. The meetings are proposed to be held on Tuesdays. Council meetings would be held on the first and third Tuesday of the month, starting at 9:30 in the morning. And standing committee of the whole meetings would be held on the second Tuesday of the month, starting at 9:30 in the morning. In addition, we are recommending that the organizational meeting for next year be on October 20th, 2026. And there's a deputy mayor roster that was prepared with council's consideration for your approval today. That brings me to the end of my remarks. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer those today. Thank you.
Any questions? No. Councillor McKay, yes.
Yeah, I'll be happy to make the motion. Thank you very much, Mayor. If I accidentally let it slip and say, Madam Mayor, please do not hold that against me. Because it might come out, and please just remember I served 8 years and I'm getting old. Anyways, it's my honor to put this motion on the floor, establish a regular council and standing committee of the whole meeting schedule. That schedule for regular meetings of City Council and Standing Committee of the Whole for the period November 18th, 2025 to October 20th, 2026, as shown on the 2025-2026 Council Committee calendar attached to the November 3rd, 2025 agenda report entitled Organizational Matters Be Approved. B, that a regular meetings of City Council will commence at 9:30 a.m. on their scheduled dates unless a different starting time for a meeting is determined when the proposed agenda for that meeting is established through the agenda planning process under the procedure bylaw. C, that meetings of the Standing Committee of the Whole will commence at 9:30 a.m. on their scheduled dates unless a different starting time for a meeting is determined when the proposed agenda for that meeting is established through agenda planning process under the procedure bylaw. That regular meetings of City Council will occur in the council chambers at St. Albert Place with an option for council members or the public to attend or participate through an electronic platform, and the scheduled regular standing committee meeting of whole, pardon me, standing committee of the whole meetings will occur in the Douglas Cardinal Boardroom at St. Albert Place with an option for council members or the public to attend or participate through an electronic platform. I don't have, if you're going to accept it.
So you can ask if there's any questions of administration, and if there isn't, then you may commence the debate. So you will accept the motion first if you'd like, and then the debate can commence.
Before I accept the motion, are there any questions for administration? Okay, I'll accept the motion.
Thanks. I think for opening comments, I believe that the backgrounder report explains the situation, and this is just organizational meetings to get our city council on the right foot.
Councillor Cortesh.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I thought I'd test your procedural skills this evening and thought maybe the folks in the gallery might like to see some democracy in action. So I'm going to start off with an amendment this evening. And I'm going to move an amendment that the start time for the Standing Committee of the Whole be changed from 9:30 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Thank you. Before I accept the motion, is there any questions for administration?
I can have one. I'll have one. Just from an administration standpoint, I mean, any concerns in relation to it? I mean, 1 p.m., I know in the past, SCOW, usually we bring some meaty matters there and it can run into, 5-6 hours. It also, we usually have SCOW the third week of every month, and that's usually when we also have committee meetings, and we tend to bump into those meetings potentially for certain council members and committees of council. So I'm just wondering, comments, concerns, can we kind of, how would we get around some of these more meatier kind of challenges that we'd be faced?
Yeah, thank you very much, Councillor. As you're well aware, some meetings are jam-packed and some aren't, right? And so it's the jam-packed ones that would be more of a concern as it relates to activities programmed later on in the evening. I would offer that I guess that they would parallel the previous format insofar as a 1 o'clock start is achievable from administration's perspective. From our perspective, though, it's preferable to start at 9:30. Reduces the necessity to flex hours and reduces the conflict that could occur if meetings go past 5 o'clock in the evening.
Councillor Cortesh.
So is now the opportunity to speak to it or still questions? Okay.
Just questions. If there's no other questions, we will accept the amendment and go to debate.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, just a few words. I know council's aware of my situation, but for the benefit of those in attendance, just a brief explanation. As everyone knows, the previous council has given direction that the job of city council would be considered full-time. And while the job will in fact require full-time hours, we've ended up in a situation here where for people like myself who are in the middle of their career, the prime of their career, it does involve a significant cut in compensation in order to accommodate the standard Monday to Friday 9 till 5 working hours. And so for that reason, I'm going to suggest allowing a little bit of flexibility in how we schedule those full-time hours. I'm also completely understand the rationale behind the move to earlier meetings. And so what I'm proposing, I hope this evening, is a little bit of a compromise from the previous council schedule. So rather than having all of council meetings start at 9:30 a.m., I'm proposing that the Standing Committee of the Whole have a start time of 1 p.m. instead. From what I've been able to gather, and as we heard Mr. Fletcher just allude to, the average Committee of the Whole meeting runs somewhere between 3 and 5 hours and doesn't necessitate the whole day. And so it'd be my preference that if most meetings are only going to be a half day, that the afternoons be the default rather than the mornings. It's also my understanding that in the event that there is a lengthy agenda at the time that the agenda is set, and according to the procedure bylaw, that an earlier start time could be determined at that stage. So a 9:30 start time, if there's a heavy agenda, could be accommodated if that were the case, but the default time would be 1 o'clock would be my preference. So I guess what I'm asking here of you is two things this evening. One, a bit of a personal favor, to be honest. This would help me manage my full-time commitment to city council as well as a part-time teaching assignment. And second, I think it sends a message to any would-be future city councilors that although full-time hours the hours are not prescriptive and that the job would be flexible enough to accommodate and attract a broad range of candidates. And I think that's something that we'd all want. So that's the reason for my motion. And thank you, Mr. Mayor, for indulging me.
Thank you, Councillor Cortash. We'll move to Councillor Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Cortash, I hear your concerns. With council now serving in a full-time capacity, I think our schedule should reflect that commitment. Aligning meeting times with the regular business hours of our administrative staff, typically 8 to 4:30, would promote consistency, accessibility, and efficiency. It also ensures that staff can support council within their normal workday, which is important both for effectiveness and for respecting their time and their work-life balance. Fiscal responsibility was a central theme in my campaign platform, starting this term with a schedule that could lead to additional overtime costs for staff may not align with that principle. Setting our meetings so that they likely will end within regular business hours would demonstrate good stewardship of public resources while supporting effective collaboration between council and administration. From a practical standpoint, morning meetings tend to result in a more focused and productive discussion. Decision-making and engagement are often strongest earlier in the day, and that approach could lead to clearer and more efficient outcomes. With residents having the ability to attend virtually, meetings commencing at 9:30 a.m. continue to promote participation while hopefully providing administration and staff with a respectful end time to their day. It's also worthy noting that the St. Albert Gazette's submission deadline, I believe, is 4 p.m. on Tuesdays. Earlier meetings would allow for more timely reporting of council's decisions, helping ensure residents are informed promptly and accurately about the work being done on their behalf. For these reasons, I won't be supporting your amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Clark. I'll move to Councillor Hughes now.
Thank you. So Councillor Cortash, I hear what you're saying. I understand your challenge. You're trying to balance two careers at the same time. The challenge I have though is that we can't be changing the meeting times every time we have a longer meeting to start time. So if we're going to do one, we have to just do one. We can't be saying we're going to do one and then the next week we'll do 10 and the next day back and forth, because the public needs to have some consistency and predictability in the meeting times. So I understand what you're saying on that. And the other challenge is just that I think we've all been working full, like anybody who's already been on this council, I'm looking at my other two colleagues, we've already been working full-time hours for quite a few years. This hasn't been a change even. It's really about just changing to that full-time schedule opportunity. And that's also why we had the pay raise. And I realize that for many professionals, it is still a cut compared to what they were making before. In spite of the fact that many of the public think that it's still too high. But that was in part to accommodate that. So I understand the challenge and I feel for you, but I also do know that quite a few of the meetings do exceed 5 hours. And so then we are pushing into the 5 or 6 and 7 o'clock at night. And I think the intention, at least at the end of last term, we were just saying like, if we could just finish at a regular working time, it would be really great, as opposed to trying to go and push it when everyone's tired, including staff, because they've already been starting at 8 a.m. And then we just are all trying to get into that 7 or 8 o'clock at night. You kind of feel like you can't think anymore. So the intention was to bring it forward so that we could do that and have it when everybody was working on that full-time schedule. So I'm challenged in trying to agree with you on this. I'll listen to any other debate, but I do understand the conflict that you're currently facing, and I do feel for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hughes. There's no one else that has any comments. I will just say, reflecting on obviously the personal situation, I believe there was a council remuneration committee in the past that did some analysis around the full-time hours required as well as the compensation associated with it. I do have some concerns around the additional costs that starting in the afternoon would potentially create This is, I think, one of those things where it's the practicality of it, and the impact of it financially, as well as trying to be accommodating. So I do understand and appreciate your amendment, and I will leave it with you to make any closing remarks, and then unless there's nobody else, if there's not, then I'll leave it with you to make some closing remarks before we go to vote.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I may be starting my return to council 0-1, but that's okay. I had to put it forward. And just to be perfectly clear, I am fully committed to full-time council hours and didn't want to suggest anything to the contrary. And knew that full well coming in. It's just that those council hours weren't prescriptive. So full-time hours, but not prescriptive 9 to 5. Here's what the hours are going to be. That was not prescribed. And it was always going to be the will of council to determine those hours. I understand the financial concerns. We've had evening meetings for council as long as I've been alive, and so that's nothing new, having evening meetings. And I do believe, like I said, that the procedure bylaw does allow for, when we have those lengthier meetings, to have earlier start times. So I was asking council to indulge me in that request, and like I said, I'm hoping to have your support, but if not, I'm certainly committed to the full-time hours, of course, and the schedule that council sets.
Thank you very much, Councillor. I guess we'll move it to vote. The vote is closed, and the motion has failed with 2 in favor and 5 not in favor. So we will go back to the original motion.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, we've already brought it to the table, so now we will go to debate on or we just go to vote.
You can ask if there's more debate on the original motion if you like, and then go to the vote on the original motion.
Does anybody have any comments or concerns around the original motion put forward with the 9:30 start times? Then I'll call it to a vote.
I can close, but I have nothing to close, so I'm just making sure we follow the proper process.
Thank you. Call it to vote. Close the vote. That motion passed unanimously. Okay, I believe Councillor Patrick will like to make a motion on establishing the date of our next organizational meeting.
That the next organizational meeting will occur on October 20th, 2026.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Is there any questions for administration? Perfect. Okay, I will accept the motion. I'd like to open it up now for debate.
I was just coaching her. You don't have to make any opening comments on it if you don't want to.
I will just call it to a vote. That motion is passed, 7 in favor, 0 against. And lastly, I would move it to Councillor Hughes to establish our deputy mayor roster.
That the following roster for the deputy mayor for the 2025-2026 council year is established, and then in the absence of both the mayor and deputy mayor, the next scheduled deputy mayor shall assume the role of acting mayor. 2025 November, December, Councillor Hughes. 2026 January, February, Councillor Patrick. 2026 March, April, Councillor Clark. 2026 May, June, Councillor Bermansky. 2026 July, August, Councillor Mackay, and 2026 September, October, Councillor Kartash.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Any questions for administration at this time before we close it for debate? Okay, I'll accept that motion.
Thank you. I don't really have much to discover. I want to just thank you for asking us what would work for our schedule and accommodating that so that we could not only deal with any issues that come up as deputy mayor, but also handle it in the best timing of our personal schedules as well. So thank you for that.
My pleasure. With no other questions, we'll go to vote. Thank you. That motion passes 7 in favor, 0 against. With that, I will call adjournment to the meeting, our first organizational meeting at 6:52 p.m. Thank you very much.